I'm going to put all of my reference frames for my chin on a unique layer, just so that way I don't get bogged down with seeing all of these lines while I'm doing all of my onion skinning. This is just getting really complicated, and I can have as many layers as I want to, so why not? I've also spent a little bit of time thinking about animating on 1s, 2s, and 3s. For those that aren't familiar, that's when you animate every one frame, like I have down here. This would be animating on 2s, where one drawing comprises 2 frames, and then of course there's 3s, 4s, etc. I don't think anyone ever goes up to 4s, but the point is, it allows you to get the same amount of action done, but you can draw that many less frames. And that's definitely something worth considering, since last video I was talking about what it's going to be like when I have to do all of this on my own. Drawing on 2s, for example, literally cuts my production time in half. I don't need to onion skin this one, I just gotta eyeball it. I will, however, don't want the chin to go any lower than that, but I can eyeball the rest. Now these parts I can onion skin because it's its way towards that ease out, so these are all gonna be halves. What does that give us? Beautiful! And I also just noticed that I have this nice little swish going on in here. Right here, the chin has this nice flick to it, which I had not anticipated, but I really enjoy. And now, let's give him a chin! Oh man, those ears do not suck as much as my last ones did. I mean, we call that shit progress. Head squashes a little bit. Maybe I'll drag the whole thing and squeeze and stretch it a little bit. Or maybe squash and stretch will work in my favor, and it won't be a big deal. One of the unintended benefits of being an artist is that I get to spend a lot more time catching up on music. I used to work in the production industry. I used to work at a warehouse for concerts and music festivals, corporate events, etc. I gotta say, I am severely outclassed by all the people that worked there and what they knew. I mean, these guys could name every band member of every band. They knew all the concerts. I felt like such an idiot around these guys for something that I thought that was just, oh yeah, I like pretty music. So a lot of them gave me a lot of really great recommendations for groups to listen to, or at least inspired me to care a little bit more about listening more intently to the people who I do listen to. And I gotta say, I really appreciate it, especially if I want to get into making music videos. It really forces me to think critically about music composition. What are the points of a song that become interesting? Really, I'm quite grateful for that, even if I did feel like a complete dunce the whole way through. So now the question becomes, how's the best way to go about drawing these heads, these in-betweens? I think I'm just going to follow my keyframes that I have drawn so far. I'm not sure if it'll end up with the head looking a little bit deformed, but I guess I won't know unless I actually go and find out. So let's see what happens. Okay, and I am going to have to think critically about this. The chin comes down here. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a combination of me following my guidelines, but also thinking critically about each frame uniquely. I'll find some nice, comfortable balance. No! My Control Z went back way further than I thought it was going to. That's not fun at all. Fantastic! First line of heads. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, the head's turning all right. So when we only have the silhouette of the head, we can obviously tell that it's turning, but we lose out on the nice details and personality of the face tilting and looking down because we don't have these reference lines, which if I turn on here, you can see, okay, now it's a lot smoother and we can see the motion and anticipation we're going for. We're not going to be able to see that on this version, one, because I'm missing half of it, but two, because I haven't put in the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and most of the ears, which is what give us that sense of direction on the final product. As it stands right now, though, does this seem head-shaped? Yes, for the most part it does. It's not a perfect head, I have a lot of work to do, but it is getting the idea across for what we're looking for. Also, I have to start thinking about the neck, right? So the back of the head doesn't come in and connect with the chin here, but actually curves down towards where the neck is going to be. So I have to start thinking about that. I'm curious. I'm going to grab this head and put it next to the one at the last frame so that way I can see whether or not I've got my proportions right. I do not! I need to be a bit taller. Better! There we go. Now, when I turn on my onion skins, I move over to the next frame, I know that both of these heads are roughly the same shape, so there shouldn't be too much morphing between the two of them. It shouldn't feel as though the head actually changes shape, at least not as much going from one keyframe to the next. Now the question is if I have to make a judgment call between whether or not I'm following my reference lines and whether or not I'm referencing my keyframes. And I'm sure there's a balancing act there that I'll become more and more familiar with as I go. So between these two frames, it looks like I have a bit of a curve here, but this face is flat. So I'm gonna add a little bit more definition to the front of this face. And part of that comes from my very limited understanding of anatomy, knowing that this is where the eye socket is, so I need to have a bit of an indent. God, this takes a long time to do. Oh. Oh. Man. Drawing on ones is obnoxious. Yeah, I'm never doing this again. This is terrible. Imagine having to draw an entire body like this. Oh my god, I'm never gonna get anything done. Then I have to do backgrounds and objects in the background, clothing folds. I can't do that. Yeah, this is without a doubt the last time I'm ever gonna animate something on ones. This is excruciating. I want this to come down. Connect already, damn it! Fantastic! I can feel my blood pumping through my hands. I wish that was adrenaline. It is mostly just soreness and regret. But we came up with the final product, so let's see what it looks like. Oh, that's wonderful! I think that I have a really solid head. And yeah, there's like all these little fritzes on the side and these little details like this little line, etc. But here's what's important. I didn't notice any of that until I started doing this frame by frame analysis. Oh, Jesus, I deleted something. Of each individual line. And one thing that I'm noticing while looking now at the head at the beginning and the head at the end is that I really like this head because it has this nice flat face. I think that aesthetically that's really nice and feels facial. But over here, it feels like the chin comes in a little bit too far. Every time I do something, I'm learning more and more about how much time I really need to spend to make sure that my keyframes are accurate before I get into my in-betweening. Because once I've made all the in-betweens and I've done all that work, and my hand is pulsating with fury, I can't afford to go back once I realize, oh no, my chin was slightly up. Now I have to redo all those in-betweens. I need to avoid that as much as possible. Now we reach a very interesting point in this process, which is putting a face on our character here. And I've spent a lot of time looking into how to go about making noses and eyes, chins, ears, etc. I'm not really familiar with any of them, actually. I watched a couple of tutorials on noses because that was something I was having a problem with before. And there's a couple of different takes on how to go about constructing a nose. A lot of them focus on how to get the bridge right, how to make the wings of the nostril, how to make the actual nostrils themselves. Some are structured with an outline, followed by details that you fill in. Some are based off of more detailed geometric patterns that construct the different planes, etc., etc. And some are remarkably simple and are just, hey, draw a little nose thing and then make a little nostril thing and toss in a line because wings and just move on with your day. So I practiced them and I found something really weird, which was that all of my noses looked weird. Like no matter what I did, no matter which way that I drew them, all of my noses kept looking weird. And I was trying to figure out why it is that mine don't look like the nose that I want. What I noticed is that a lot of these characters don't have nostrils. A lot of the times, when you see a character drawn in an animation, in a cartoon, etc., you see noses that just comes out and it comes down. That's it. You don't see this whole like, all right, now we have this down here, and then we have this coming around here. You just see that. If the character's looking forward, you might see like a downward nose like this, or if they're looking straight at you, you might not even see a nose at all. So I'm going to try that on mine, because now I'm realizing I need to simplify as much as possible so I can just get on to the next frame. If there are these small things that I'm noticing that I can take away, you know, I can imply certain things without having to go through and make them detailed. I can imply fingers without having to draw fingernails, for example. So what are all of these different parts of the body that I can be focusing on? What's the important part? And the important part is that the character has a nose. Sometimes it's enough just for the nose to be a little buddy. So I'm going to try this with simple noses. So this feels as though the nose is pointing this way, while the face is looking this way. Alright, I went and checked a couple of references, and it looks like a big part of what might be missing here is the fact that, one, I suck, but two, more importantly, that the nose actually moves over towards the side of the head. There we go. That's better. Also, it's a pretty tiny nose, but we'll figure this out as we go. And that one's fine. I think that one's in a good spot. It looks like the bridge of my nose is going to be disappearing. I like how that looks, not having the size of the bridges. So I need to have it be half disappeared at this point. I seem to have acquired an extra frame down here, and I'm not entirely sure how that happened. Yes, somewhere these are off target. What happened? When did I... Oh, I somehow managed to make a new frame and then put my nose onto that instead of putting my nose onto an already existing frame. That was weird. Alright, how weird does that look? That's great! I'm totally okay with the way that that turned out. And that's all that needs to be done. Alright, we're good. We're done. Catch you guys later. Anyways, so from here, let's add this same nose over to the other side. Which means I have to create the nose over on this side. So we commented on the placement of the chin based off of the angle of the head, right? The chin's more towards the center line of the face compared to the sides, while on the other side the chin's all the way over here compared to the sides. So the nose is also going to be further over to the side of the head. It's going to be like over, looks like a monkfish. Nose is going to be more like out here-ish. And it's actually probably going... I don't know what I just Control-Z'd, but I don't want to do that. It's actually kind of probably protruded past the face. It's bigger on this side, though. It's a lot bigger than it is on the other side. I don't like that. So is it better small on this side or bigger on this side? It's bigger on this side. I'm going to have to make these a little larger. Yep, here I am not learning from my own mistakes again. I should have made this one, and this one, and I ain't gone and done all this. God, I'm getting worse at this as I go. I'm having one of those days, man. I'm tired. I apologize if this video isn't as upbeat as... Well, I can't speak for whether or not any of these videos are particularly engaging, but I certainly hope they've been. I spent an awful lot of time worrying about whether or not people are going to like me and going to like the content that I'm making. I can't deny that I want to be liked. I think it would be unhealthy to do so. Oh, that's actually about the right size. But sometimes I struggle to stay motivated to make content. I gotta reference this bottom line down here. The nose meets the bottom line of the ellipse. You know what I want to do? Future people, if you're out there and you do watch this video, tell me what you do. Tell me your little tricks for picking yourself back up when you're having a down day. Give everybody a little something. Just chip in whatever that one or more little things are that just help you pick the pencil back up again. Fantastic! So this bad boy comes out. Wonderful! I really love the way that the nose disappears as it's looking forward and then reappears again. That comes out really nicely. You know what I might actually do? Once I add in the neck, I'll see where the neck lands and actually move all of the heads around so that way the neck has a swivel and that way it all looks like the head's turning on a body. I think I might do that just for an added little bit. That might be a nice little touch. Well, I just noticed that I got to my 2 hours of recording, which comes out to about an episode, so I think this is actually a really productive stopping point. We created a really nice head, we figured out the chin situation, we have the nose, and I actually really like this. I like that the nose is just a little outline that keeps things simple for me. Now, between now and the next recording, I am going to go work on eyes, because the eyes are, of course, the most important part of this exercise. And I think I'm going to keep the mouth a little bit simple. You know, I'll start off with a neutral expression, followed by a very intense frown, like, "Aww?" And that'll help express that look of confusion and like a little bit of disgust. I think that would be comical. But the main focus is going to be learning the eyes. So thank you everybody for watching up to this point. And with that, I will catch all you later. Love you all. Don't forget to subscribe for more therapy art videos. And if this is up your alley, say so with a like and a comment. Also, I used to not have enough channels to fill my honorable mentions, and now I have too many. What a pleasant inconvenience. So let's get this party started with brushes and bunnies whose nose style influenced mine the most.